Hey guys, it is April from Getting Hygge With It. Today is day 5 of the Sweet Winter Read series, and today we are going to be talking about what is new in the thriller genre. You know I love a good thriller, and I don't really need a time of year to read thrillers. I'll read them at any old time, but these are the books that are coming out over the winter season, so I wanted to share them with you. So the first book is called Mr. Tender's Girl by Carter Wilson, and this one is coming out on February 13th. Now this one reminded me a lot about the Slim Man, and I think it's based on that whole Slim Man story. This focuses on Alice Hill. She's 14 and she is she's just viciously attacked by these two classmates of hers, and she's just left to die. Now those classmates say that they were told to do this by someone named Mr. Tender. However, he doesn't exist. He's actually a story, a fictional character that Alice's father made up, and he has a whole series of books about Mr. Tender. Fast forward 10 years, Alice is moving on with her life, and yet somebody is watching her. They know very specific things about her that they shouldn't know, like her scars, and then the secrets that she's been keeping throughout her life. She doesn't, want to talk to people about this whole Mr. Tender thing that she went through as a teen. And it's starting to resurface, and she's worrying. And she's worrying and wondering, who is this? Is it Mr. Tender? The next book I want to talk to you about is The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn, and this comes out on January 2nd, so you don't have to wait too long for this one. Now, this follows a shut-in named Anna Fox. She's stayed in her house and hasn't left her house for like 10 months when the story begins. And basically what she does is she sits around all day and like watches the neighbors. And one day, a family moves in. It's a family of 3. They look picture perfect. And then one night, she hears this like blood-cursing scream. And she sees something that no one is supposed to see at all. And she doesn't know what to do with this information and this thing that she saw. The next book is The Perfect Nanny by Leila Salamani. And this comes out on January 9th. And this is about a couple who decide to go back to work. The wife in this couple, Miriam, decides she wants to go back to her work as a lawyer after she's had children. And they find this unbelievable nanny named Louise. And she's just like picture perfect. She's sweet and kind. She sings to the kids. She cleans up their little apartment in Paris. But as time goes on, the couple really start to become invested in her, and she becomes invested in them. And like jealousy starts to appear in their relationships, and they just start suspecting one another. And I really want to read this book. It sounds so creepy. Next up is The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor, and this is coming out on January 9th. So this kind of flashes back and forth in time. We start out in 1986, where Edie and her friends live in this like quaint little town, and they've got like this wonderful summer, idyllic summer that they experience, and they have this little like secret code where they have these little chalkman figures that they create for each other. And only they can understand. It's like the secret code. And then one day the chalkman figures leads them to a dismembered body, which isn't idyllic at all. And then we flash forward to 2016, and Eddie has grown up, and one day he gets a letter in the mail, and in that letter it contains a chalkman figure. He's like, what is this? He calls up his old friends from his childhood, and each of them got one, and then one of those people winds up dead. Doesn't that sound like so much fun? I really want to read this. It sounds like such a blast. And finally, I want to recommend The Sandman by Lars Kepler, and this one comes out March 6th. So this takes place in Stockholm. One night, Michael Kohler Frost is found just wandering. Now, this kid was once suspected of having been taken by a serial killer, and he was taken, and also his little sister was taken. They thought he and his sister were both dead because of the serial killer, and now they found him wandering. And he says, no, I'm like clearly alive. I was being held all of this time by someone named the Sandman, and my sister is still being held. And the police need to discover who the Sandman is, where the sister is, whether this story is even true or not. It just sounds riveting, and I've heard wonderful things about this one. But yes, those are the thrillers that are coming out this winter that I am so excited to read. So let me know if you are interested in any of those and which one appeals to you the most. And then tomorrow we'll be back here for day 6. We're going to be talking about snowy titles. It was fun to come up with that one. So I'll see you then. Bye guys!